good morning, and we're at the STEP conference in 2024. We're going to have a lot of guests today, and our first guest at the pop-up Pods studio is Racha from Digital Digest. We're talking content as a product. We're talking about Digital Digest being a great business that provides the news and the original content, and the business that stands behind that. Hello, Racha, and welcome to Pods Pop-Up Studio. How are you today? How is STEP for you?
I'm great. I was just on stage bright and early, so I'm still waking up. How
was the session?
It was great. I think it was packed. We had a lovely conversation about where the ecosystem has been and how matured it has over the past 12 years. It was a great conversation and a great way to kick off the day. It's been, I think, 12 years of STEP.
Really?
So congratulations, Ray and the team. It's a great milestone. And I'm excited for the next 2 days. It's going to be fun.
So was it the first session for the day? So your session was the very first in the agenda?
Yes.
How did that feel?
I think the team loves to do this to me. I did the same thing last year. I mean, it's okay, to be honest. It was a lovely panel of speakers, really great conversation, very energetic, and I love the dynamic. I mean, I've been working with entrepreneurship in tech for 14 years now. So the energy, the adrenaline, the passion, it's addictive. It's what keeps you going, really, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So what was the topic of the session that you ran at STEP this year?
We were talking about the maturing ecosystem. You know, how has the ecosystem matured? Where does it still need to grow? We all of us, I think, agree it's not a mature ecosystem yet.
For the startups.
It's a pre-teen ecosystem. It's getting there. But it's going to take some time, but we've come a long way, right? Where we were 14 years ago, where we are today, completely different. Your parents don't yell at you if you decide to become an entrepreneur anymore. They support you, and they don't think it's a bad career choice.
That's true, actually.
14 years ago, you tell someone your son wants to or daughter want to become an entrepreneur, and they'll be like, "Get a job." This is not a career. So we've come a long way.
So what do you think is still on the way for the startups to get more mature, to get more credibility from all angles, from all perspectives?
I think it's not just the tech ecosystem. I think we look at we live in a microcosm of the tech ecosystem, but the whole economy in the Middle East is a developing one, right? We live in the UAE, which is a nascent country in its age, not in its maturity, but there's a lot of things that take time to develop. We need a lot more hype and bust cycles in the general economy, and for that knowledge to be transferred in the very small niche life of tech entrepreneurship. So overall economic maturity is still something that we are building in this part of the world. And that hopefully as that grows, and we're seeing the governments are really working hard,
for sure,
as well as the entrepreneurs in all the sectors, to make that come true. And that's, I think, eventually going to be there. We need more talent, diversity in funding pools, not just venture capital, not just angels. We need diversity in that as well, whether it's private equity, SME loans, different kinds of SME loans, competitiveness on that side. Also, more people from the corporate ecosystem or with years of experience and also with failures down their belt that go and become entrepreneurs. I think statistically, globally, the most successful entrepreneurs are ones that launch in their 40s. So maturity is needed. Starting a business is not easy.
I actually love this message so much because even back in the days, because I've got a corporate heritage as well, transferred into, let's say, a podcaster and a content producer eventually. But I remember back in the days, coming from the corporate world and starting to, approach any of the startups was kind of like, it was surrounded by a lot of bias. So this person will never manage to survive in a startup environment because it's so bumpy, it's never stable, there's a lot of risk, and nothing is fixed. You have to be able to leap, you have to be able to adjust very quickly. So the corporate background will never help let's say, an employee to survive within a startup. Has this message changed?
So I think one thing that's a blessing about economic downturn or hardships is that corporates cut budgets and start to get more lean and challenging and start asking more and demanding more from their employees, and it slowly becomes a little bit more it roughens people up. Obviously there's still bureaucracy and processes and all of that, but we do see a little bit more of that. We're not nearly close to where we need to be. There's some innovative corporates in the UAE that have in-house innovation programs that have been running for quite a few years now, trying to stimulate their own employees to kind of come up with ideas to improve their business. They're funding these ideas in-house, kind of like an in-house venture builder model. But I think there's like maybe one or two corporates in the UAE that do this, and hopefully they set the roadmap with a few success stories so that other corporates are going to look at them and say, oh wait, we should do more of this. But ironically, we see this more happening in the government, like DIWA does this, right? DIWA has innovation in-house. And I think something really beautiful that the UAE government did at a federal level is provide job security for government employees that want to go and start their own businesses on the side, and they'll get like a year and a half or 2 years, I think, of leave as an entrepreneurship leave to start their business, and they can, if they fail, they can come back. If not, then congratulations, you're a founder.
What a great way to I think to try yourself. So that you don't regret when you, for example, building your, let's say, corporate career, you don't regret that you've never tried, right?
And I think some people have, they want to build. And if you build on the side, you don't give your business the same level of passion and dedication that it takes when you're like really going all in. And this is definitely a great move, and hopefully we'll see more of that, and we'll see more entrepreneurship in the region.
I love this topic, and thank you for sharing the insights from the actual session that you had. I think it's a very valuable topic to discuss more and more. How did you come to your business? So let's talk about Digital Digest. What is this a channel? Is this the actual business? Does it monetize? And how do you monetize that?
So the Digital Digest is, like, briefly a news aggregator for the digital economy in Middle East and North Africa. We basically, instead of you having to go and find the top news of the day all over the internet on the tech economy, which again, it's a tiny piece of the bigger bubble, the whole economy of the world, we bring all the top news, startup investments, VC raising money, policy changes, as well as reports that are relevant to entrepreneurs and the tech ecosystem. To your WhatsApp, Telegram, or email. We've been doing it for 5 years now, Arabic and English. We have over 5,000 members. And we're very happy to see people message us from time to time and say, thank you so much for this. Like, really, I don't know where to get my news anymore. This started, honestly, very randomly as an attempt at microblogging. I worked at ArabNet for 8 years. ArabNet was one of the top tech conferences in the region in the early days. Started in 2010. I used to have the content, and I was really passionate about the market. And one of the ways, as a content organizer, to start with, the way to build your content is to be on top of what is going on all the time.
For sure.
And so, to stay on top of what I do all the time, I had my own little setup of little RSS feeds and everything that I used to have on the side. And at 1 a.m., my team knew they would be getting messages from me in the middle of the night, being like, look this up in the morning, look this up in the morning, look at this is cool, look who raised money, look who did that. And then when I decided I don't want to do events anymore, I was in the habit of doing this anyway. So I thought, okay, I'm collecting it, but I want to send it to people. Like, I would just want to do that. And I started a Telegram channel then.
Right.
And then Farah, who's also an ex-ArabNet, we worked together and we're like, okay, you know what? Let's do an Arabic channel as well. Let's make this bilingual. This is also a bottleneck in the region. A lot of news get published in English, it doesn't reach the Arab first user, and vice versa. A lot of things happen in Saudi that are not, or other markets, even in Egypt, the government doesn't publish in English. You don't know about these policy changes. So we realize there's a bit of a niche there that needs to be filled, and it just organically grew from Telegram to WhatsApp to email. We've sent over 250, I want to say maybe 270 newsletters, weekly newsletters to date. We never skip a week. And that's kind of how it started. And we're very passionate about this ecosystem and empowering it. So we've been doing it for all this time. It's not a content business model per se, because we're not a media company. We're an aggregation business, and we're a data business primarily. Right. So on the back end of everything that you see on the digest is a massive database, collects all that news, not just investments. We track the expansions. We track all the stats on the market. We track the policy changes, a histogram of what's going on from a frequency of policy changes. All of these things, because we think you need a holistic view to see what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. And especially in the era that we're living in, with the amount of information and amount of misinformation.
Yes.
I think this is so important, isn't it?
Yes, and so we look at ourselves as a data business more than just a content business. I mean, not to belittle content businesses, obviously, but this is kind of the intersection that we focus on.
This is great. And how do you foresee this format to evolve? Whether it's going to stay as such, do you see the data part being more sophisticated, becoming more sophisticated?
Yes. Yeah. So the tech ecosystem, and we've always had the view that tech is one small piece of the whole world, right? And we've always liked to see entrepreneurship vertically and horizontally integrated within all the other components of the economy. We're now launching and kind of expanding into covering more economic verticals like finance and banking with a new product, and our backend, our Neuron, which is our data as a science backend and platform that we're launching for finance and banking. We're doing some changes with the Digital Digest to be able to do more analysis and data-driven analysis on the region. But we're pushing more on the data and the analysis because we think there's a lot of phenomenal people like yourself and the podcasting community and other platforms that are doing a lot of great on the media front. But we want to build the tools that help people, one, understand the market better, but also make more strategic financial decisions on the market.
Right.
And with lack of data, that's a bottleneck for confidence in investment.
Amazing.
So with data, we can hopefully encourage more increased investor confidence.
Yeah.
And also highlight how can we measure the progress of any market, any economy, if you don't see the numbers, if you don't know what you're talking about, right?
Totally.
And it's kind of, this is how we think, and we want to translate that into the product.
I think that's a great perspective. And Racha, thank you so much. This is our first interview at Step 2024. I really enjoyed this conversation. I think the topics that you're raising are very important for the startup environments, for the ecosystem in general in Dubai and the UAE and in the region. And thank you for coming, Step 2024. Thank you for coming for Pods Studio, and stay connected.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Enjoy the networking, totally. Enjoy the great weather, and the same.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.